We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Carol's Corner MMA podcast. I'm joined by Logan Weaver. Logan, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing fantastic. We both we're coming from opposite ways, but about a 4 hour trip to get to here.
Yeah.
How was the drive?
Oh, it was pretty good actually. I apparently had a better drive than a lot of other people. Complaining they were all complaining about snow, and I had sun, and it was pretty easy the whole way down.
Sounds like a good trip on the way here. You got here just in time for weigh-ins. There weren't too many scratches. I believe there's 12 fights total. Thoughts on the weigh-ins or anything like that?
So first off, I'm super excited. First off, to be back in person at Cage Wars, and second, just to be able to leave Canada again. So that's fun. I think we've got a really good card, a lot of really great fights coming up. I know there's some newcomers, and I love that we have everything in terms of weight. We've got just about every division covered that you possibly can, which means the fans are going to get to see great fights, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Definitely a wide variety of skill. Like you said, there's, I believe, 6 title fights on the main card, from super heavyweight to bantamweight and flyweight. So like you said, there's definitely plenty of something for everyone who likes MMA. And then the main event, we got Kennedy versus Harley Locklear. Thoughts on that fight? That fight is like those two both undefeated. There's a lot on the line. Harley Locklear just defeated Kyle Kaler for the 155 title. And then Kennedy's been dominating everyone in that 145 featherweight. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fireworks. I think that Brennan Kennedy should have been pro before now. And if he wins, absolutely. I mean, he's done everything he needs to do in amateur. So I would be really looking forward to seeing a pro debut from Kennedy after this. But in terms of this fight specifically, like you said, undefeated fighters. My thinking is that with Kennedy's ring experience, he's probably going to come out on top. But I think Locklear is going to give him a run for his money, and I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I think it'll be a banger for sure.
Absolutely. Like you said, I don't think Kennedy hasn't seen anyone like Harley Locklear in the striking department. But Kennedy just has another level when it comes to takedowns and grappling and just smothering people, and the pressure he puts on people is just phenomenal. And I think that's where he'll take, like you said, you have him winning it. I think that's where he's going to take the advantage and win that fight as well.
I agree. I think there's a good chance he gets popped a couple times by Harley, and then he really just keeps it on the ground, keeps him smothered, and really just dominates him there. But I mean, it's a fight. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah,
so I could be completely wrong.
No, do you see it ending in the first round, second round, third round? Where do you see this going?
I'm thinking decision. Yeah, I think both of these guys are going to go out there and try and end it early, but I think they're both going to be tough enough that, you know, unless a limb's broken or a knockout shot happens, it's neither one of them are going to give up anything very easily.
You know, I see it ending in the third, but similar to the Kyle Kaler fight and the Harley Locklear fight, I think the geography of the fight's going to be all over the place. Very similar. They're going to be on the ground, they're going to be standing, clinching against the cage. Takedowns, submission attempts. I think it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah, I think a big thing is going to be the cardio battle. So I think the cardio battle is going to be huge because, like you said, it is going to be all over the place. And with Harley wanting to strike and Kennedy wanting to likely stuff that and end it on the ground, that takes a lot out of you, and as I know. Yeah, I think it'll be a cardio battle, but I could see it ending up decision. But who knows?
Absolutely. As I'm trying to find the fight card on here we go. And then the co-main event, I believe, is Corey Norman and Al Morrow, unless they switched it to the flyweights, but I don't think they did.
Yeah.
That one's an interesting fight. They already fought once. Norman kind of, I think, controlled most of the fight, went to the decision. But now both these guys are two different fighters. They fought quite a bit. Corey's a champion, multiple champion at different weight classes, going for heavyweight. Al came back in his last fight and looked phenomenal.
He did.
And then Corey's fighting a heavyweight, and he's 240, and he looks like a monster.
Yeah, this fight just makes me laugh, first of all, just because I know how close friends they are. Like, I know Corey's in Al's wedding party, which is hysterical to me, but that's also partly why I love this sport. I mean, you could be in someone's wedding party and then like for one weekend try and beat the shit out of each other and kill each other and then go back to being great. Yeah, I think this fight is going to be very interesting. I mean, Corey looks like an absolute brick shit house. It's crazy. Al looks like he's probably in the best shape I've ever seen him. I think it's going to be, I think it'll either be over very quick or it'll go the distance. That's my thinking. I mean, Corey's good everywhere, but from any time I've seen him fight, he likes to strike a little bit more. I know Al's really big into the wrestling, but also into the boxing. So I think he's going to be pretty comfortable either way. For me, it's just funny saying this, knowing that they're friends, but part of me is wondering if Al doesn't have a little bit of that chip on his shoulder, so to say, to bring it back, because like you said, they fought once and I know Corey won, and so I'm wondering if that hasn't motivated Al a little bit more. But again, I mean, it's up in the air. I mean, like you said, Al's last fight, he looked the best I've ever seen him. I know he's been training super hard. He's had a lot of really good personal triumphs, I would say, too. And I'm wondering if he's that high is just going to get him to push and finish it.
Level.
But
yeah, it should be a good one. I was just talking to Corey down there, and Corey was saying, Al called me, he had 2 questions. He goes, 1, do you want to be a groomsman in my wedding? I was like, sure. And he goes, 2, you want to fight again? I was laughing. I'm like, you guys got a crazy relationship.
They sound more Canadian than I do doing that stuff.
Yeah, seriously. Someone turns out the lights and yells, and then they're shaking hands and stuff.
Yeah.
But that fight is like going to be an interesting one because remember that Al was, amateur boxer. He's got tons of fights, and then he's also a college wrestler. Yeah. So he's got those 2 dynamics, and then you got Corey, who's never wrestled in college or anything, and kind of put us all this martial arts together after he graduated college and everything. And just 2 different guys. Different styles, but very similar in the same aspect. Yeah,
I think it's really interesting because they're so different, but they're also so similar, which is really interesting in a matchup, I think. Because like I said, like Corey's good everywhere, but Al is also good everywhere. So I think either one of them has a potential to end it however they want to, which is always a really interesting concept going into a fight, knowing it that you could finish it standing or you could finish it on the ground, and either one's going to be great for you. So
absolutely. And I wonder how much putting all that muscle mass on for Corey will play a factor for him, whether or not he tires out quicker. You need more oxygen for those larger muscles.
I mean, Corey's like in really good shape, but I think he may notice a difference in how fast
he fatigues.
Yeah. And he's also not going to be likely as fast with his punches and his strikes as he's used to being, because there's a lot more muscle and there's a lot more body put behind these strikes at this time. So I think it'll be really interesting to see. And I think the first round, at least for the first half of it, will be a really interesting feel out period for Corey at heavyweight.
Absolutely. And then moving on to Nate Russell and Alex De La Cruz. 7-1, 4-1. I don't really know too much about these flyweights. I don't know if you know anything about them.
No, I don't know too much either. But even just from the weigh-in, like looking at them, I think it's going to be a great fight. Yeah, I think it'll be a great fight. And again, 2 people with high success records like that. I think they're both coming out to prove something, and so I think it'll be really interesting for sure.
Absolutely. Like I said, don't really know much about them, but I agree with you. Both 7-1, 4-1. When you have records like that, you're doing something right in your career, in your amateur career at least. So that's the third to last fight on the main card. Remember, the fights taking place, they're all sold out, so you can't get tickets anymore. They're sold out here at Rivers Casino Resort in Schenectady, New York. But you can get the fights on the stream on the pay-per-view. Go to Fight TV, Cage Wars 49. Make sure you purchase it. Support your local fighters. To absolutely do that. I know you support the UFC fighters. Support the local fighters, guys. Yep. A lot of good athletes down here trying to make a career out of this. So.
Yeah, we definitely can't get to the UFC if people don't support us now.
Absolutely. So, and I don't think people realize how important that is.
It's huge.
To support the local scene.
It's huge. It really is. And I mean, even coming here, like I know Slim had tried to get me a fight this weekend and it didn't work, which things happen, but even just the support coming down as a spectator, as someone who's fought, you know, the things that the promotion's even doing for me now, as someone who's just coming down to watch for the weekend, that kind of thing is huge. And to have gyms and your community behind you purchasing even just the pay-per-view, like, yeah, it's $20 or whatever it is, but that's huge. I know after I fought, and the number of people who had told me, yeah, I've purchased it, I was like, holy crap. Like,
yeah, it's that recognition.
Yeah.
Just people seeing your name and hearing you and seeing the fight. Just seeing on YouTube and everything after.
Yeah.
Just something special.
It is. So, yeah, it's huge. So if you guys can purchase it, definitely do that.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, Logan Weaver, she has fought for Cage Wars one time, right?
One time,
and that was a heck of a fight. Came out on top. Are there any fights on the horizon?
Yeah. So, like I said, Slim had tried for this weekend. 3 different opponents were approached for various reasons. It didn't happen, which is all part of the fight game. So it is what it is. I had actually spent my summer in fight camp. I was going to fight for Victory in Watertown. Unfortunately, my opponent had to pull out 10 days before due to injury. So that fell through. But I do know that Slim has just announced a January card.
Yep.
And got some big eyes for that one. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because January will be 2 years between my fights.
That long?
Yeah, you can't do much when the world shuts down, though.
Yeah,
so
true, yeah, it's like it's COVID happened. It's like you just throw that to the side.
Yeah. So my fight was January 2020, and then March 2020 is when everything shut down. So it was a really weird period, especially up in Canada. We had a lot of different rules compared to what you guys had down in the States, which made training really hard. But yeah, I'm hoping sometime very early 2022 to come back and here or even somewhere else. But I would love to keep going, and we'll see what happens.
Get back in there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dive right back into the fight card. Then we got another one who I think this could absolutely be a main event fight. We got, Andrew Geisler, 5-1 versus Kyle Kaler, 5-4.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled by Kyle's record, 5-4. Kyle is one of the toughest guys out there fighting out of MMA. Thoughts? I don't know. Did you watch his last fight?
I did catch his last fight. Insane. I was looking at him during the weigh-ins, and he reminds me of like a Justin Gaethje, Brandon Moreno kind of guy, like a little bit nerdy and like unsuspecting, but then they get in there. Oh boy, you better watch out. So yeah, I think it's, and I always love people like that. I mean, I get it too, right? Like people are always surprised when I tell them I'm a fighter, and then so I love it when it's when people have their own personality and then they come in there and they surprise people. And yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a fantastic fight, and that, like you said, easily could be a main fight for sure.
Absolutely. That's those two guys. Kyle Kaler's coming off that amazing fight with Harley Locklear.
Yeah.
Where they went 3 rounds and it was just unbelievable.
Oh, they battled. For sure.
The only thing they didn't hit each other was the sink.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was brutal. They brought everything. One of the best fights I've ever seen. I've seen well over 1,000 amateur fights, and definitely the best amateur fight I've ever seen. And probably one of the best if you include some of the pro fights without like the UFC and all. One of the best fights overall. But these two guys, I expect nothing but fireworks.
Oh, it's gonna be a banger for sure.
Geisler's coming off his first loss.
Yeah.
Both guys are coming off a loss. His first loss is against Kennedy.
Yeah.
Who's in the main event.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots all around, and there's unreal talent on this card. And I think it's gonna be a phenomenal fight. Could potentially be our own version of fight of the night.
Absolutely. And then we got Ryan Hickey versus Olivier
Poisson. You gotta get your Canadian in there if you're gonna say it right. Yeah, he is fighting out of Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about him. He's 6-0.
Yeah, so I know seen a few of his fights, been at a few cards at MFL where he's been fighting, and the kid cleans up. I'm actually really excited that he's made his way down here. I think it's going to be a great move for him. Win or lose, I think he's going to want to stay here. I think the talent pool is enough of a challenge for him. But like I said, he's just been cleaning up in MFL. Yeah, I'm super excited to see him down here. So obviously, I have to pick the Canadian to win this one. So, but
MFL, for those who don't know, is that Montreal Fight League?
It's the Montreal Fight League. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's one of the bigger promotions, especially around the area that I'm in. If you want to stay in Canada, a lot of the guys that fight there are from TriStar, which just about everyone knows is GSP's gym. So there's lots of high level talent coming out of there, and they're always really exciting fights.
Awesome. And then to round out the main event, the main card, we got James Chaplin 4-3 versus Malik Smith coming up from Long Island, who's 4-2. Super heavyweight title. This is an interesting one. Malik is supposedly on his way. He was kind of late to weigh-ins, trying to drive up from Long Island. I don't know what time he was planning on leaving at. Knowing it's like a 4-hour trip, but hopefully he gets here and we have the fight take place.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's kind of on hold. So, but both big guys. Malik Smith's like 6'3". You saw how big Chaplin is.
Chaplin's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's a big boy, and I'm excited for it. I love it. I think it's going to be great. Yeah. So hopefully that follows through and that fight happens. I mean, I find a lot of people are on the fence about super heavyweight. I think they can be explosive. I think they can be a shitload of fun. I mean, I think my first super heavyweight fight that I saw was Jeremy Woolfolk and John Marconi here, actually. And it was unreal. I mean, you got to give both guys props too, but you know, it's always fun seeing a big boy go in there and just do things that you'd never expect. Yeah, you gotta love the like Derek Lewis's and that kind of thing. Like, I think, I love it. I think it's great.
Awesome. And then we're gonna go to the undercard real quick, skim over it.
Yeah.
We got Ricardo Henderson fighting a replacement. I'm not even sure who the replacement is. His opponent Robert pulled out. Henderson though, he's a guy who's just keeps improving every time he fights.
Improving. People love him.
Yeah, nice
I mean,
guy.
you can see why from the weigh-in. I mean, even just the weigh-in, he has so much personality. Looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. I think he's definitely one to watch, and I think he makes a run sooner rather than later. And I think another one that I think will be successful in a pro capacity. So
absolutely, I agree 100%. And then we're going to jump down to Richard Cloudhammer, a clown of his own, a great guy, character. Had all 5 kids at the weigh-ins with him. I believe they're going to be at the fight tomorrow night supporting him. Making his debut is just a bucket list item for him. And
I think it's fantastic.
I think it's great.
He's what, 41, something like that?
Yeah.
Who does that? It's the best. I love it. Yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, Richard and I don't know each other super well, but friends on Facebook, chat every now and then. Just super great guy, a lot of fun. I think he's going to bring a lot of personality to the fight. And I think win or lose, he, out of everyone, is going to have the absolute best time in that cage tomorrow night. I don't think anyone's going to beat him. And I think he is just going to come out of there with the biggest smile on his face. And I'm excited for it. And I mean, you got to give the shout out to the guy who wears short swim shorts to his weigh-in. You know, you got to put your money behind that.
Absolutely. And then we got Chris Quills versus Tavon Thomas, featherweight fight. These two guys I expect to be high-paced. I've seen Thomas fight a few times in other promotions, and he gets at it. So I expect nothing but fireworks from these little guys.
Yeah, and I think watching the little guys is always a little fun. I mean, it's funny that I can say little guys because they fight at a lower weight than I even do. They're always so quick, which is so much fun to watch. Just the speed that they can perform techniques because they are so small is always so fascinating to me. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, it definitely creates fireworks, and I think it'll be an exciting fight.
Absolutely. And then we got Nash Hilton versus Logan Samara. This is an interesting one. Both making their debut. Nash is very highly anticipated, as well as Logan. And Logan's a guy who's telling me about he loves Vikings, and he's got a whole show coming out for when he comes out. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, what he pulls out of the bag of tricks. But whenever a guy comes out and does a little show and all, kind of like the boxing, you see Tyson Fury and all them, and Wilder, they wear all these crazy helmets and stuff. I think it brings another level to the show. As long as he doesn't complain that his helmet was too heavy and that's why he lost, then I'm cool with it. Absolutely, I agree 100%. But that fight, I don't know what to expect. We've never seen either one fight. Yeah, both debuts, so it should be an interesting one. Yeah, I find debuts go one of two ways. They're either great and
both people out there proving that they are there to stay, or it's two people feeling themselves out for 3 rounds, and it's kind of interesting. But
Absolutely.
I mean, at the same time, it takes a lot to get in there, especially for a debut. You have no idea what to expect when you're getting in the cage either for the first time. So, I mean, I think it'll be good. And for both of them, it's going to be a learning experience. And I think it'll be great.
Absolutely. And then the last fight we're going to go over is Luis Melendez versus, I'm not sure how to pronounce Mendy. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. It's a tough one.
I can't even see it, so I'm not going to either.
Yeah, let's see if we can.
Kukulevsky. Yeah, you got to get that Eastern European.
Far away from that. But yeah, that guy was ripped. He comes in
there,
and Luis we know is a tough guy, got a strong striking background.
Yeah, so I think, well, even just looking at them from weigh-ins, both weighing in with Muay Thai shorts, I mean, I think you have to expect a striking battle. Absolutely. I think this is my second pick for potential fight of the night, and I don't even know much about both of them. But just knowing that both of them are strikers and the level of preparation that you put in, and for me, I know training at a majority Muay Thai gym, it's crazy and it's fantastic to watch. So I'm really excited about it. Just interested to see if someone accidentally throws an elbow or something. But
yeah, and you can't throw elbows in the amateur level for those who don't know. But tell us how is it like when you train in a mostly Muay Thai gym to transition to like MMA, wrestling, and grappling and everything like that? Yeah,
so sometimes it's hard. I train with really high level kickboxers, Canadian kickboxers. One of them, she's also a fellow Southpaw, which is great. But I can't throw a lot of the techniques if we're doing just Muay Thai sparring. So I don't throw a lot of like knees to the head or elbows because I don't want to have that as a practice and then accidentally throw it in a fight and get DQ'd. Yeah, but it's not bad. It changes, the training changes a lot when you're in fight camp. So we have two main coaches, one for jiu-jitsu and one for Muay Thai. Our Muay Thai coach, Jay Davies, essentially is credited with bringing Muay Thai to our region of Ontario. And then Andrew Babcock, who's also a fighter himself, for the jiu-jitsu, and it's fantastic having one of the main coaches as a high-level fighter in MMA, and he's about my size too, which is also great. So we they switch up sparring to just striking with takedown defense or just takedowns, and my gym's really good at being able to meld both of those together at high levels on both sides. So they're really good. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Now, do you have like a wrestling background at all? Or?
No, so I actually have a traditional background. Okay. So I have a 1st-degree black belt in Goju Ryu Karate, and I have a 3rd-degree black sash in 5 Animal Style Kung Fu. Okay. I'm getting to the point where I can start to incorporate some of the Kung Fu stuff, which is actually really cool. It's really neat to be able to do that. But yeah, so my background actually comes from traditional. So when I first started doing Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, it made absolutely no sense to me. But I love it now. It's a lot of fun.
In your fight, you did a great job wrestling, grappling, takedowns. You were all over the place, and you did a great job when you were fighting.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I definitely see myself more as a striker. Okay. I enjoyed a lot more. But actually, I've been focusing solely on jiu-jitsu for about the last 3 months now. I think I've only done 2 striking classes in that time. And my coach is super cool with it because it's a huge part of MMA. Yeah, I hope that it only improves from there, and it's really cool that it worked out so well for me in the first fight.
Absolutely awesome, and looking forward to seeing you get back in. But before that, we got these great fights tomorrow night. Can't get tickets, unfortunately; they're sold out. Make sure you go to Fight TV, order Cage Wars 49, get the tickets. Logan, anything you want to say? I always ask fighters, what's one thing about you that nobody knows and you would like to share?
Oh. What is it?
Could be anything. Doesn't have to be fight related.
Oh my goodness. I'm petrified of butterflies.
Butterflies?
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
They die in like 2 days.
I know. I'm like super aware that it makes no sense. It's completely irrational. Yeah, I'm like panic attack, like can't do it. I took my daughter to Niagara Falls for her birthday at the end of July this year, and she's been talking about going to the butterfly conservatory, and I was like, I can do it.
No.
I'm with my kid. I made it like 4 feet in before I had like a full-blown panic attack, and like I left her. I ran away from her. She's 11, so it's not like a small child, but yeah, I was like, I'll see you in the gift shop. I can't do this. So that's like her favorite story to tell people now too. And now the whole internet knows.
Yeah, so now everyone knows.
My opponent's gonna come out with a butterfly or something, and I'm gonna leave. Like,
that's great, awesome. Well, like I said, get order the pay-per-view. Myself, Will Barry, and Ben Fields will be commentating the fight. Should be a great show. I think it's 12 fights total, so don't miss the action. Any last words?
I'm just excited to be here drinking and watching it. I'm gonna have a great time tomorrow night.
Absolutely. I'm Kyle Carroll alongside Logan Weaver. We hope to see you at the fights. If not, tune in, tweet us, message us on Facebook. And this is Carroll's Corner MMA podcast, and we're signing off.